This is Vanessa Zamora. We're at PubCon Las Vegas 2009. Joining me now is Roger Dooley, Vice President of Digital Marketing at Hobson's. Thanks for joining us, Roger.
Well, thank you, Vanessa. I'm glad to be here.
Absolutely. So we're going to talk a little bit about forums. Roger is an expert in that field, I would say. And so in terms of forums, you set up your forums, you start getting some traffic, you start getting people there. How do you keep those visitors there or coming back or active? What tricks do you have?
Well, I think that first of all, the trick is to get the traffic there. But if you're successful in doing that, if you can perhaps drive traffic from another site, or you're able to obtain search engine traffic and so on, if you can, first of all, make sure that people feel comfortable when they arrive. It's a small thing, but I've seen many communities where the first thing that somebody sees if they read posts is a newbie asking a question and getting flamed for asking a stupid question that has been answered on previous days. Somebody is going to look at that, and they may not post, or if God forbid, they happen to be the flame newbie, they're not going to come back. Also, I think keeping the forum very fresh looking is important. If I visit a forum and I see that most of the major topics haven't had posts in a few days or weeks, I immediately think this is a dead community. And so I think that especially in those early days when this isn't happening naturally, it's important for the forum operators to keep things active, to bump threads, bump topics, just to at least give the appearance that things are really happening at that forum and that it doesn't look dead. Then I think ensuring that people are responded to quickly. If somebody posts, especially if it's their first post, not welcoming them and just making sure they get an answer. Because something else I know I look at when I'm evaluating forums, and often I'll evaluate a company or business, for instance, a software company, by the quality of its forum. I don't want to buy a piece of software and depend on a forum for support if that forum is a bad forum. What I'll look at is, are there a lot of unanswered questions out there? Or have people been responded to quickly? Have they found the community to be helpful? And so I think that the forum administrators need to ensure that there's some kind of response. They may not have every answer to every question, but at least they can post a hopefully helpful reply, encourage other members to participate, maybe clarify the question, do something to make that person feel that they're being heard.
Excellent. And what's one of the most creative ways that maybe you've done yourself or you've seen someone to get traffic to their forum?
Well, I think there's certainly a lot of things you can do, and it really is not just forums, but blogs or any sites. I think it's usually less about a one-time win and more about the long haul. So I think that ensuring that the forum architecture is set up for search engine optimization. You're not going to optimize the content in the same way that you would a typical static site, but you want to be sure it's set up so that you can generate search traffic as you start to get content. And that can be very effective, and I think there's an additional payback. One very nice way to get traffic is to get press coverage. And I know that on one forum that I started in 2001, in the early time, we really were in that building phase that you're talking about, but we received a surprising number of calls from the press who had questions about our topic. And what several reporters said was, gee, I kept searching these topics in Google, and you always came up in the search results, so I figured that you guys must know what you're talking about. So it really, one strategy fed the other strategy there. The fact that the forum appeared reasonably well ranked in search results drove press coverage, which in turn drove more traffic.
And what advice do you have for a forum owner or manager? What would you call it? A forum?
Forum operator or administrator?
For a forum administrator or operator in integrating social media, what advice do you have?
Well, I think that's changed a lot. A few years ago, I would say that many forum operators would try and wall themselves off from other sites, like Facebook, for example. They would perceive them as being the competition, that they want people to spend time on their forum, not interact on other social sites. I think today, forum operators have to be aware that their users are using these other media, whether it's Facebook or Twitter or StumbleUpon, and by providing some level of integration, at least allowing social sharing for their content, allowing users to share their actions. So if somebody starts a new thread, allow them to share that action with their friends. Or perhaps if they register for the first time, allow them to share the fact that they registered at that forum with their Facebook friends. All this is going to help viral growth. And I think that while certainly some interaction will occur off-site, it's a worthwhile trade-off. And I think the next phase now is even greater levels of integration, where with tools like Facebook Connect, a forum operator could choose to accept a user's Facebook login as a login on his own site and bypass the registration process completely. Not everybody may be ready for that, but it's certainly one way to leverage social networks that people are already part of to make it easy to participate in the community.
Excellent information, Roger. Thank you so much for your time, as always. This is Vanessa Zamora. We're at PubCon Las Vegas. Thanks so much.
Well, thank you, Vanessa.